This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
You all ready for this? Dun 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 dun. No.
Y'all, just stop.
This is a sham.
Welcome to DBL. It's Thursday, October 21st. I'm Jeff here with my friends, Al and Tori. Feeling good?
Yes.
Hey,
ready to go?
What if I said, whoops. What if I said, feeling good, Lewis? Looking good, Billy Ray? What would you say?
I don't know. Is that from Days of Thunder?
Man, Trading Places.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a while.
I said it yesterday and nobody got it then. Nobody got it now.
That's one of those movies they don't play a lot. It's not like Shawshank where it's on every Sunday.
Do you want me to talk about you, Tori?
No, I'm good. Thanks.
You're good.
Thank you.
I love the look.
Thanks.
All right, we started off horribly. At least my parents are still watching. Let's talk about toxic workplaces versus toxic employees. Okay. I had a Tory joke.
I know,
Let's keep going.
I know.
First, Meghan McCain is revealing why she left The View. In her new audiobook, Bad Republican, Meghan says the show's toxic environment made her want to leave, especially after this exchange with Joy Behar after Meghan returned from maternity leave. Watch.
You missed me so much, Joy. You missed me so much when I was on maternity leave. You missed me so much. You missed fighting with me. Don't act like you missed fighting with me.
I did not miss you.
Okay, somebody answer the question.
Can I weigh in?
Or I'm
You know what? That's
moving
so
on.
nasty.
I'd like to
That's
weigh
like
in.
so
Whoopi,
nasty.
can I weigh in?
Okay,
because you said something rude. Like,
hold
really?
on. Stop. Everybody stop.
Wow. But according to TMZ, Meghan was forced out after an internal investigation found that she was the source of some of the toxic behavior and fighting behind the scenes. And today, another star is speaking out about leaving her show. Ruby Rose says she was fired from the CW series Batwoman after getting injured on set. She accused the producer and showrunner of abusive behavior after they said her injuries had cost production millions of dollars and claimed the set was unsafe. But Warner Brothers says Ruby was fired after multiple complaints about her behavior. Got it.
Jeff,
Go ahead.
I was going to throw it right back at Jeff because you always say something about how your mentality when you approach set. So why don't you tell everybody, like when you approach a movie or television show, like what are you thinking?
Well, this is me personally, and then we'll get back to the celebrities. But for me personally, I was never better than the person next to me, right? The person next to me was always better, so I always had to work harder. I always had to do a little bit more. So I always was there with production, with the camera guys, setting up the camera, learning more about what was going on, trying to get the visual of why the camera guys shot here. So I was always with production. I went out with them after, for a beer or to get lunch or something like that, because I wanted to know more about the business. That's what I did, and I brought that work ethic with me all the way till today, right? Some people are just better. They're more, just like in sports, right? They don't have to do as much. Therefore, they don't practice as much. Therefore, they don't have respect for the people around them. I have much respect for everyone around here in the control booth. Everyone sitting here is part of why we're running this show. That's how I look at this business. But some people, for different reasons, might not look at it that way.
Yeah, I think it's important to separate these two because one is an injury, and she showed her x-rays and her back injury, and one is just attitude. And remember, women have had a long history of being told they're really annoying in the workplace when really they were trying to stand up for themselves. So Meghan McCain, The View, we just know, has kind of a weird, hostile, bizarre, they're not real friends like we are. There isn't that sense they're all going out afterwards. And I don't know who to trust on that set. I've heard from each side. I've heard from Joy. I've heard from Meghan. I don't know where to put my stance on that, but for Ruby Rose, she was severely injured, not looked after, and then asked to go to Comic-Con right after, even though she couldn't really move, and no one had her back, and then they said, because you complained about that, you were fired. I have a problem with that. It reminds me of Uma Thurman and Quentin Tarantino when she got really injured in the car during Kill Bill, and no one did anything, and she had to finally prove herself through medical reports that he had hidden. So injuries to me on set are different than just attitudes, and I just wanted to separate those two.
Right, but I mean, we've all spent a lot of time on set. Everybody in this room has, and we know that there are things that can be presented any number of ways. We know the energy is a big deal. It doesn't seem like much, but in a room where we have 55 adults working within 6 feet of each other, one person's negative energy, especially the star, that can throw everything off. And I just don't, I find it harder to believe that 47 or 75 adults all decided on their own to collectively get together and get this person out of there, or this person's energy was creating some kind of rift with everybody on set. I have a feeling it was the other way around, but you never know. But it's just hard for me to believe that all these people were just like, we've just decided we just hate this person out of nowhere.
Yeah, I could go on and on about this, but we got to get this next story in. Jamie Lee Curtis is revealing that she found it challenging when her daughter came out as transgender. So Jamie Lee and her daughter Ruby spoke to People magazine about the transition. Jamie Lee said it was like speaking a new language. For example, the term dead name, which refers to the name a person went by before transitioning. Jamie Lee said she still messes up from time to time, but said the experience has made her more mindful of her words. So I wanted to get this story in too because it totally hits home, I hope with you guys too. It is speaking another language. It is a little scary, especially on camera. Even if you mean well, if you slip up, it's trouble, right? So I'm glad Jamie Lee is coming out. Obviously, she loves her daughter, right? And she doesn't want to do anything to affect that relationship, but I'm glad she's speaking out about that. Yeah. Well, with Jure, we always have talks about that, you know, just about the culture itself,
conversations, just back dialogue. What I love what Jamie Lee did was she made it a gray area. There's black and white, and then there's I gotta learn. And people have to have a learning period. And she was honest, and when I read the article, Ruby was very kind with her, giving her space. At some point, though, at a certain point, when you call someone by their dead name after years, it's insulting. But in the beginning, it's lovely to see that she said we're both working it out together. And I appreciate that candor, because that's what's really in people's households right now. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I did this. It's more gray area and it's more dialogue. So I super appreciate her doing it.
I mean, my family literally went through this I had a family member that transitioned before it was cool.
Yeah, right.
Transitioned in Ohio like 12 years ago. And, you know, is a thriving adult now. But I remember they and I had a very serious conversation because they were kind of frustrated with my mom because my mom had called them by their dead name. Sure. And I was like, you got to give us a second. Yeah. You know, we just had somebody in our life for, you know, and that person's gone now. And we're saying goodbye to them and getting to know the new you. So give us a second. We had a very candid conversation. And I think when you have those conversations with people that you love and trust, it's different than when you try and have them online, you know? So like, make sure talk to somebody that's got good intentions and really wants to educate you about their new lifestyle, because the people are excited to talk.
And we've had people on from every community on this show, and everyone's been kind with their time and even my curiosity. And I want to talk about this for a minute, because when you are on social media and you mean well and you're just curious about a question or trying to learn the language, if you slip up in any way or someone just takes it just off just this much slightly, are they hurting the cause by attacking people like that when people like me mean well? I'm just curious and I want to learn the language and I want to be more inclusive. If I'm doing that, why are people attacking me? Why do people online say you're transphobic or you're this? Why do they put labels on people?
Well, I think any fundamentalist on any side, whether it be a pro-liberal, pro-gay, or very pro-conservative, is not having a conversation. They're yelling at each other. They're holding signs and yelling at each other, and no one's having a dialogue. And that's what online is. It's just pick at people.
But why aren't the people attacking people who are in support of any community?
Because why
aren't they attacking them?
The algorithm follows those words, the inflammatory words.
It's not a real place. It's such a weird.
I know.
It's not a real place.
These shows is what we talk about in like our real time together. All right, coming up on DBL, Cheryl Hines gives us an inside look at the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. You don't want to miss it. Plus, Gwyneth Paltrow shares her advice to getting better sleep. And just a warning, it's right on brand with her. Great. Tori's super excited.
Yeah.
We'll tell you about it next.
Closed captioning provided by...
As someone who was...
All right, guys, we had a really candid conversation. And can I be honest? That's the difference between. All right, can I go? The difference between the view is when you don't have trust with each other, you can't delve into that kind of a deep conversation knowing you have support. Even if I disagreed with either of them, I'm not going to call them out. That's what real trust and friendship and bond comes from. And that's why y'all respond to the show, because you can smell it, you can feel it, that there's really good chemistry and that they're really my friends, right? Are they nodding, Sierra? Are they nodding?
You're talking about Brazilian funk music. You can smell it.
You can smell it.
It's in your bones. Yeah, no.
But that's the difference.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't get the idea that they like each other.
They don't, I don't think.
And I don't get the idea that, like, a lot of times when we'll be talking, one of you guys will say something where I'll have kind of what I want to say in my head, but she'll say something, I'll be like, oh, that made sense. Mm-hmm. And almost on the fly, I'm not like with a talking
You're
point.
listening.
Because I don't want to win.
Yeah,
I just want to hear what you think about
The
it.
View is about winning a lot of the time.
But
It's a lot of
what are
like
you
points. You win.
But you're not going to win with
But you
anybody
win
that's not your
social
You
coach.
win
points. You win social
followers,
points.
exactly.
Yeah, you win social
But the
points.
people already like you that like you. I would think if you're a whoopee person,
Yeah,
you're
but
a
if
liberal,
you're
right?
but if you're nobody, I'm talking about online. I'm not talking about like the
okay.
View. I'm more online because it's very. I don't know. I always talk about online. It's like if you're nobody and you make up a fake account and you're hurling insults at that person, even though they're not. Whatever reason it is, if it's so aggressive that people are like, you're right, you're right.
You get a
Just 'cause
dopamine
that
hit.
they're also hurt
Yeah.
by whatever that person said. So I'm gonna agree with you, even though it's way off.
Way extreme.
Way extreme.
I think that's the.
And
that's
then
gonna
all
be-
of a sudden now you have a friend.
Yeah,
which you
nothing's
never had
extreme.
before.
Nothing-
That would be the story of our lifetime, even more than the internet being invented, is if we had to make a rule where we found out how many actual people are online rather than dummy accounts.
He wants
Yeah.
licenses.
It would be really interesting to see what the
And say-
actual number is rather than like what people think it is.
And then say, hey, I work at UPS.
Yeah.
Welcome back to DBL. Tori, this one's for you. Are you
Great.
curious on how to get a good night's sleep? Well, Gwyneth Paltrow has some secret tips for Tori.
Great.
She
I'm
says
really
her
tired of
secrets
her hating on
include.
Gwyneth. I am.
I'm tired of Gwyneth.
Give
Listen
Gwyneth
up.
for the
She's got
chance.
some good tips.
Okay,
Yes.
let's hear.
Naked cuddles, hugs.
Yes, I'm here for it.
Naked cuddles. Okay, what else?
Sobriety.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
2 for 2.
And achieving the big O.
2 for 3. No. I put that kind of pressure on myself. Not even the weekend.
She's
was
also in
hilarious.
bed by 8:30 after her nighttime routine of using Goop beauty products. Of course,
Yes.
she also suggests eating a very early dinner.
Sounds hot. What is she, watch Matlock and go right to bed before the sun goes down? It was hot and then it got really.
It got real not hot.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? You can't hate Gwyneth for this. There's a legit rules.
I do not like taking medical advice from Gwyneth Paltrow.
It's not medical.
It is.
It's like
Let me
Better
finish.
Life
I get
Oprah
it.
advice.
It is. It's hacks and
relationship.
stuff, but it's always have an orgasm. It's always have sex. It's always it smells like my vagina. Sorry, everyone. We get it. That's your brand. That's your problem. If you're really having trouble with sleep, talk to a doctor. Talk to someone if you're having trouble with climaxing. To me, she's so like. Just sex will fix it, and early dinners. It's like sleep is a real problem in this country, and it's just I'm tired of her.
You literally are getting older with every word you say. Tori.
Dude, she's given advice that has been dangerous to people, and I don't want to hear more about it. Listen to your doctors, talk to other people. I like her new show where she has experts talking about sex. I love that new show. I think that's awesome. I don't want Gwyneth Paltrow's medical advice. I don't.
But are you missing the message because it's Gwyneth Paltrow? If Dr. Ruth said this,
Yes, you know why?
you'd be like, I'm all on board.
Because she went to medical school. She went to medical
like
school.
a long time ago.
You have
Like, I don't know
to
if
go to
that's still
medical
right.
school to say naked cuddles?
Yeah.
No, but
Sobriety hugs.
Sobriety hugs, naked cuddles, and a big O. Is that really that surprising? Everything about
Why
her
are
is
you so
just-
mad at those 3 beautiful things?
You don't sleep better after the big O?
Of course I do. I sleep like a baby. But what I'm saying is, I really truly feel like she wants to insert herself and just add sex wherever it is. And
What's wrong with that? A lot of people do that.
All right. I just don't. I would say listen to your doctor about sleep. It's a real issue. It can cause problems. And if you are having problems, talk to a medical person, not Gwyneth Paltrow.
And no naked cuddles.
I've just never seen you have like this like bingo was canceled vibe. Like you are super old school right now.
Be one.
You used to like be sex positive and now you're like, I don't want to hear it.
I like
Getting
sex
good
positive,
sleep.
but I also like any kind of advice that has to do with real issues, medical issues. And she's done this before, gotten sued, had to pay when she suggests jade eggs going in you, steaming your vagina. None of that.
But
is
all the other
healthy.
stuff worked.
I don't want to select pick.
Just a heads up, we're probably going to have a little chat at the desk
About
when we go
the
to
word.
commercial. We were skating that line for sure. Coming up on DBL, our interview with Cheryl Hines.
She was
What was
great.
her favorite part of her on-screen marriage to Larry David? This interview is amazing. You don't want to miss it.
Thanksgiving travel could be even more of a hassle this year. Let's connect the dots. Right now, airports are seeing staffing issues across nearly every position. One of the places most in need of workers, airport security. And those lines could get even longer starting next month. All federal employees, including TSA, are now required to get the COVID vaccine. But only 60% of TSA employees are currently vaccinated. And the deadline for them to roll up their sleeve is November 22nd, which is just 3 days before Thanksgiving. Now the head of the TSA says he's very hopeful this won't lead to a shortage of airport screeners for the holidays, but he does admit they are working on a backup plan in case a large part of their workforce is suddenly off the job. And many airlines are also weighing the same issue. American and Southwest are currently backing up plans to punish unvaccinated employees, saying they won't be fired or suspended right away. So what should you do if you're traveling this Turkey Day? Show up at the airport with several hours to spare and try to travel as early in the week as you can. That way you have some wiggle room if something goes wrong. And that is connecting it up.
Welcome back to DBL. The world has changed, but this show hasn't. And trust me when I tell you that you'll need to curb your enthusiasm over this interview. I know I had to, and earlier we sat down with Curb's very own Cheryl Hines to spill all about the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'm so excited I can't even talk. That's today's Chatting with the Stars.
Please welcome the lovely Cheryl Hines.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Hey, hey.
Hey.
Cheryl, we're so excited you're here. That was your first big gig. We had JB Smoove in studio, and he told us a great story about how he auditioned and, you know, kind of improv with Larry to get that job. Do you have a story? Do you remember your audition process for Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Actually, they said you have kids with Larry, and you don't put up with his BS, and that's all we can tell you. And so I went in, and Larry said, you know, I don't think you put enough milk in the kid's cereal bowl in the morning. And I said, well, I cover the flakes. And he said, well, just fill it up to the top. And that was the whole audition. We talked about that for a very long time. And then I got the part.
That's hilarious.
That's pretty much sums up the show. That sums up the show.
Exactly the show. I cover the flakes. Come on.
You know, obviously your character on the show is also named Cheryl, and you and Larry have a long history. You guys are married, then you guys were friends with benefits. So just in your opinion, like what's like the funniest part of their relationship? Is it the married part or like friends with the benefits part?
Well, we do seem to get into a lot of trouble just being friends. It's not black and white, our relationship. There's a lot of gray area.
Like a real relationship.
Yeah. Exactly. That's the thing. I mean, that's what's really fun about Curb is we've been on for so long and we all have different relationships in the show, just like in real life, right? You have these complicated relationships, and that's me and Larry.
That ventriloquist scene was hilarious.
They're all. Well, Cheryl, we know that Curb is fictionalized version of Larry's life, although sometimes we have to be reminded of such. So how much of the show is improvised versus produced, and what's the biggest overlap between real life and your characters?
Well, there's no script, so it's all of the dialogue is improvised. We have an outline. We just shoot it. And that's it. And you do it a few times. In real life, I love these guys. I love Larry and Susie and Jeff. And on the show, I like them.
Exactly. So let's talk about real life, Cheryl, because we all know what annoys Larry. We hear about it all the time. What's been the most annoying part of this past year for you, or just in general? For me, I don't like when people return their shopping carts. Or they don't, you know what I mean? So do you have an annoying little tick like Larry?
And do you return your shopping carts, Cheryl?
I do, and I go to great lengths to return it, which then it stresses me because I'm like, I don't know. Should I leave my car open with the groceries, and is somebody gonna steal my groceries while I go? It's just very stressful.
I leave my kids in the car and return it.
Hoping somebody will steal your car. I don't particularly like when people, you guys are going to be like, who does this? When people spit in public.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, she just hit
cute.
it. Yeah, it's so weird that people do that. And when they spit in like a drinking fountain, I'm like, who raised you? It is literally the grossest thing, and people just casually do it at the park, and I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Or they do the farmer's spit, which is through the nose.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's not cute.
It's called a hawker.
Yeah,
Oh, my
not
goodness.
cute.
This has turned into an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
She clearly like set something off in everybody.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
all
Cheryl.
get it, Cheryl. So season 11 has an all-star lineup of guest stars. Who were you most excited to work with, and do you have any fun stories from set?
It was really fun working with Tracy Ullman.
Oh,
so
yeah.
that was kind of a dream. There's a scene where Larry and Tracy walk in the door, and it is just absurd. So even just looking at them together and what they're doing, it's just so hard not to burst out laughing, which we do all the time. That's another problem we have. We break all the time. But it was just like a dream because I love her, and just to see her walk in the door, it's like, whoa, I've made it.
Yeah, yes, you have. We cannot wait for season 11. In fact, it will premiere October 24th on HBO Max. Thank you so much. We adore you.
Yes.
Can't wait to see the premiere. We'll be right back. Thank you, Cheryl.
Thanks, guys.
Promotional consideration is brought to you by
For the last 70 years, doctors have recommended aspirin to prevent heart disease. But now there are new guidelines about whether it's doing more harm than good. And Verify viewer Charles asked us to help clear things up. So Charles, let's verify. Is taking low-dose aspirin daily to prevent heart disease recommended? Our sources are the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force, the American College of Cardiology, the president of the American Heart Association, and a cardiologist at Virginia Commonwealth University Health. The question started after the Preventative Services Task Force proposed new guidelines this month suggesting most adults should not start taking aspirin to prevent heart disease. Previously, it recommended daily aspirin for high-risk adults over 50. The American Heart Association points out this change just backs up what it recommended 2 years ago.
We're pulling way back on the recommendations for who needs aspirin. So this really means that millions of people who previously might have been recommended for aspirin now probably should not be taking it.
There are two main reasons for the new guidelines. One is how aspirin affects the body. It's a blood thinner, and new research shows not only does it have only a small impact on preventing first heart attacks, but it also puts patients at a greater risk of major bleeding. The other is that newer medicines can do a better job at treating the causes of first heart attacks, especially in younger patients.
For example, make sure your blood pressure is controlled. Make sure your cholesterol is controlled. If you're smoking, stop. And those are all much more likely to offer benefit with less overall risk than taking aspirin would be.
So it's false that low-dose aspirin is recommended to prevent heart disease for most adults. The new guidelines don't apply to adults who already have heart disease or were already prescribed a daily aspirin. And as always, talk with your doctor before making any changes. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Don't miss a day of DBL.
I am here to receive said gift.
Bold debates. Come on now.
Enough.
Get real.
It blows my mind.
Hot celebs.
Happy 5th anniversary.
Love a suit, by the way.
Thank you.
Seriously, Al, give her a break. That just sounded weird, actually.
And all the laughs. That's Erica feeling it. Okay, I'm done with you. I'm done. DBL is always all new every day.
Welcome back. You won't believe the deals Steph showed Tori this week in Deal Blast, brought to you by our friends at Morning Save. We got some seriously useful and discounted products that you're going to want to snag before the holidays.
Yeah.
Rolls right off. Check it out.
All right, Steph, what do you have for us today? Fill me in.
First up, we've got the Style House Professional Ceramic Styling Iron with accessory set. So you'll get one styling iron, one comb, one heat-resistant case, and an iron holder. Normally, Tori, these is as much as $250.
That's a lot of stuff, to be honest, Steph.
Yeah.
Right?
But right now, they're only $19, which means our viewers save up to 92%. Now, Tori, everyone's skin could really use this. We've got Skin Pharmacy Wrinkle Killer Day and Night Moisturizers and eye serum. It's designed to fight signs of aging so you can feel really confident in your skin. So normally it's $335. I know that's pretty expensive, but we've got it for only $39, which saves up to 88%. Now, this next item is absolutely genius. It's a 2-pack of cup called Cup Holder phone mounts.
What?
So this deal includes 2 phone mounts, and it's a really safe way to answer calls or check your GPS map.
Wow.
So normally it's as much as $40.
Yeah.
So now it's 2 for $20, saving up to 50%, Tori. And last but certainly not least, we've got the Sonic Comfort TheraPlus Heated Deep Kneading Shiatsu Massager. Now, normally, these are as much as $130.
Yeah, they're pricey.
But we've got it, Tori, for only $35, saving up to 73%.
Oh, man, so you can feel relieved and your wallet's relieved. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices. You can even visit morningsave.com on your smartphone. Thank you so much, Steph. That was excellent.
Might be bringing Big Jeff back. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.